Couldn't, I had to get my fifth wheel on that.
They had it. I
Went
thought
about
they
8
had
o'clock.
Here we go, folks. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Monday, November 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Our first item of business is to review the agenda.
I will move to approve as presented.
We have a motion
And I'll second.
and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next up, public hearing on a request filed by Jack Michaels, record owner, and Victor Cologne, proposed buyer, to rezone approximately 2.1 acres in Bloomington Township at 2473 Bayfield Road from A1 agricultural to R1 residential. Good morning, Eric.
Morning. So the zoning commission held a public hearing on this last month and recommended unanimously to approve the rezoning. This is a potential split of a couple acres. Just west of Spangler Chapel on the north side of Bayfield Road. There's quite a bit of discussion about the future of that area, given some of the quality of the farm ground in that vicinity. However, the LISA evaluation did score it as just a medium protection level, simply because of the proximity to the city limits, proximity to nearby other residential districts, fully paved county road. And so it led to some good discussion about potential for additional development, at least along the frontage of Bayfield over to North Mulberry. That really is an ideal location for some additional, not extending too far north, but certainly taking advantage of the infrastructure that is already there as far as a paved road. So it was recommended for approval. Any questions on that?
It looked like the board, you just had one comment. Mike Deere had sent a letter on that. I thought he had some interesting thoughts. I mean, the concern we always have, if I remember back several years ago when he was changing animal units out there, and you had that whole subdivision that was in here, very upset about it. And I was like, well, he's been there since 1980. You came in 2000, I think. But that's always a challenge with residential developed close to agriculture. But I liked his concept of, as we look forward off of Bayfield, to have some kind of separation between ag activities and residential. It's something to think about as I don't know you don't know what'll happen on these roads. And
No, but if we, this one is a little unique. I think our comp plan, further lease evaluations would not support extending too far north with additional residential because of the quality of farm ground that you start to run into. But, lease evaluation and CSR is not always the end all be all if there's a lot of other factors that make it ideal. This one being so close to the city limits, an intersection of two fully paved county roads, the amount of residential in the area already. And so if we don't take advantage of some of those that are more ideally suited, then you end up getting requests to jump farther out into the county just because the CSR is lower, where we have gravel roads. And that's certainly not something that I think that we want to continue to encourage residential developments, because what comes next. It's requests to pave gravel roads, which would still have fairly low traffic counts just because there might be one subdivision. So I think this does represent very orderly development, and it probably would end about in this area.
have you had any other input on it?
No.
What is the CSR on that parcel?
Oh, it was like 92 and.
Yeah, the parcel as a whole, it was fairly high.
Yeah.
But even with that, again, the LISA evaluation did
I
not,
understand.
because of all the other factors that come into play.
Yeah, and that's pretty close to the proximity where there's some multifamily and everything right there. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just that side of the road from what is it? Come on, can't remember the road name.
Well, from Mulberry all the way
Bayfield or
over
North Mulberry?
to Isaac.
Tipton?
Tipton, from Tipton over to Mulberry, it's pretty much on that side of the road. It's primarily residential
Right.
at this
Yeah,
point.
it's built out.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? If not, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I would move to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, this is a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
I vote aye. Danny?
Aye.
And Kurt?
Aye.
All right, the public hearing is closed. Now we have discussion of possible action to approve an ordinance rezoning approximately 2.1 acres in Blooming Township from A1 to R1 on the first of 3 readings.
I'll move the approval.
second.
Got a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Danny? Kurt?
Aye.
I vote aye, and Scott?
Aye.
All right.
And for your information, we did receive a request from the owner and the proposed developer, builder, asking if you guys would consider, in the interest of time and construction season coming, to approve on a second reading next week and waive the third and final reading. So if you give me a consensus, we'll be prepared for the
I'm fine for putting that.
second
You guys?
final
Yep,
next
I'm
week.
fine.
All right.
Okay.
Good deal. Okay, thanks, gentlemen. Item number 4, items with County Development Director Eric Furness. A is discussion and possible action to accept a variance granted by the Muscatine County Board of Adjustment on October 24th, 2025.
Yep, there was one variance granted that would allow an addition to be built onto an existing home at the end of Nye Avenue, 39 feet from the front lot line as opposed to the normal 50 feet. You know, variances is something that we've talked about in the past and meeting that hardship hurdle. However, as of July 1, the state passed a law that says numeric or dimensional variances no longer require a hardship burden. They're what's called a practical difficulties burden. And so when the Board of Adjustment reviewed this case in light of the legislative changes, they did find that a practical difficulty existed. This is really kind of unique. Nye Avenue dead ends there. I think I've talked to Brian in the past because this homeowner actually got a variance a year or two ago for a little room addition. It'd be almost ideal to vacate part of that, except it would be kind of difficult the way the adjoining property, it would be very difficult to split it, but there's no traffic that goes through. The impact to a county road is almost zero, wouldn't you say, Brian? Long-term, we don't see any expectation of buying any right-of-way or extending that road through, because it would have to go right through the middle of their parcel, their house already. So they felt the practical difficulty burden was met and they granted the variance.
What type of addition is this looking to be?
Just a one-room addition to an existing house. I think like a 14 by 14 or 15 by 15 addition on the house.
Okay.
I'd move.
I'll second.
Okay. Let me get back to my agenda. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we are going to review a special use permit granted by the Muscatine County Board of Adjustment at their October 24th, 2025 meeting.
Yep, so there was also a special use permit granted that would allow the operation of a biochar production facility and a compost facility. I know you're all familiar with this one. This was a property up there by Wendling Quarries that was rezoned a couple months ago. And so a hearing was held on the special use permits that would allow those two types of land uses, and those special use permits were granted. There was one condition placed on the compost facility, and that would be that all composting would occur within an enclosed building, and that was out of consideration to some of the neighbors. They hoped it would help contain some of the odors that are inherent with that type of operation. So that was something that the applicants were very agreeable to and actually had in their plans to do anyway. It would kind of control the rate of decomposition of the compost, and they can manage it. So they're going to get started with construction of a building that the actual composting will occur wholly inside of.
Okay. Good deal. Anything else, Eric?
I think that's all for now.
All right, thank you, sir. Moving right along to number 5, we've got items with County Engineer Brian Rashowski. A is discussion and possible action to approve utility permits. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good morning. We have two utility permits today. The first from Arion Network Services, INS of West Des Moines, Iowa. Arion is requesting to relocate fiber on Stewart Road from just south of Fruitland Road north to city limits. There's some areas where it's causing some conflict with our construction, so they need to get that relocated to the back of the right of way. Our second one is from Interstate Power and Light, Alliant Energy of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Alliant is requesting to bore along 120th Street from Vale to 3468 120th Street. The majority of this is actually in private. There was a couple of locations, though, where they could not acquire private easement, so they're bumping out into us.
I'll move the approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Brian?
Yeah, I want to give a quick project update. Down on Stewart Road, our contractor, they've paved from the beginning of the project, which is down there by Fruitland Road, north to, they're just shy of 49th Street. So right now, they're working back behind where they've already paved. They're working on shoulders and doing intersection work. Most likely, this week, they'll take off from where they are and go north roughly about 1,000 feet, removing pavement, which will land most likely in between the entrances for the, I'm blanking on the name of it, but there's a mobile home park there. They'll most likely land there, so. Our 160th Street box culvert, that's all been, grading's done, there's rock down, they were able to seed it last Friday, hopefully early this week. The fencers will come in, there's some field fence to put back up, and once they get that done, she'll be opened up. And, we're really glad to have that one done. We held a pre-con for our 180th Street Pleasant Prairie Road box culvert out there. Sounds like contractor's going to try to get in within the next couple weeks and get that thing rocking and rolling. So they had to get a couple of dates ironed out, and but we'll know more. They were looking at most likely starting it sometime next week. So
Pretty quick.
yeah, so that's what I got for an update.
Thanks. Sir.
Thank you.
All right. Discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the October 27, 2025 regular meeting.
There was Tybee put out a change to change the signature line since Shannon will be here this morning, so,
Okay, I will approve with the change.
and I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next up, correspondence. Scott?
On Thursday, the 30th, I attended the public hearing for the Louisa Solar at Discovery, and also on Tuesday, the 28th, I attended the Fair Board meeting. I didn't have any other correspondence per se.
Jeff?
Okay, I would note, last week we got about 6 more letters of support for the Orion Solar project. I had, several people, we should have the names in the email. And then on the 29th, I attended an Iowa Environmental Council presentation here in Muscatine on coal ash. On the 30th, I also attended the public hearing. And then on the 31st, I was on a conference call with the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative and Convoy of Hope. So we talked about some food help that for the area. Jessica and the pantries were getting together, and Convoy of Hope is something that provides disaster relief. They've said they've decided with the current situation that they're going to divert some of their resources, although they are helping in Jamaica as well. So they're going to bring truckloads of goods to food banks.
See,
That was it.
Okay, sorry. I also had the letters from the folks on the solar stuff and attended that meeting last week. I'd also had some communications with some local pastors, as well as some folks involved with some food pantry activity as well, to try and do what we can to fill the gap while the government shut down. Danny?
On the 28th, I attended that annual fair meeting, and on the 30th, that Board of Adjustments meeting.
Same thing, I did, attended the Board of Adjustment meeting on the 30th and attended the annual meeting at the fair on the 28th.
Okay. How about committees?
And also on the 28th then, following the annual meeting, we had a regular Fair Board meeting.
I didn't have anything.
I did not. Jeff?
On the 29th, we had the Housing Accelerator Committee, and on the 31st, we had Region 9 Policy Committee.
And Scott?
And I also attended the Region 9 committee, and that was all I had.
Okay, thank you all. Item 9 is with the administration office. A is discussion and possible action to review applications and approve one appointment to the Muscatine County Zoning Commission for a 5-year term ending November 7th, 2030.
So I see you had two applicants, and I think our normal process is that, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, people can serve 2 terms, and then we go out and they can reapply if they want, and we see, and, you know, you saw we had Carol, and I can't remember the other gal's name, Ashley, but, I think, you know, me personally, give somebody else an opportunity. Carol's been great on the, both board, she's on the Board of Adjustment and this is just for the zoning commission, so she would continue to serve there. She's been very reliable, she's met all the meetings, she goes out, so I really appreciate her efforts, but I think it's good to give somebody else an opportunity.
Has she done 2 terms
So
already?
she's done two, she's been two full terms.
10 years at least, yes.
Yeah, so I would make a motion that we appoint Ashley based on that and thank Carol for her
For sure.
continued interest and her continued work.
We have a motion in favor of Ashley Spittler. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. And I just say, I've known Ashley for a few years, and she's a dynamo. I think she'd be great on it, so I'm happy to support her for that. Any other discussion? If not, I would call the vote. All those in favor of Ashley Spittler, please say aye.
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 Opposed? She is appointed.
Thank Carol, I know we did, but
Absolutely.
thank Carol for everything she's done over the last couple of times.
9B is discussion and possible action to approve the following actions related to staffing in the treasurer's office. 1, to approve placement of a current treasurer's clerk, grade 8, step 2, into a senior treasurer's clerk, grade 9, step 2, effective November 15th. And approve placement of a current treasurer's clerk, grade 8, step 1, into a senior treasurer's clerk, grade 9, step 1, also effective on November 15th. Amy, you want to say anything about this?
I had talked to Nancy last year when we completely lost our staff and were rebuilding, and thought that we might need another position, because we were falling so behind. But now that we have a full staff and they have become much more efficient, we don't need an additional staff member, but we do need to reward the ones that are, achieved the necessary responsibilities to be moved up to the next step.
Very
Okay, very good.
Very good.
So do you wanna take these together? So
We can
I'd
take
make a
together.
motion to approve
Each of them
both of them. yeah.
together? Okay.
I'll second.
So we got a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion? I just like to say, great, it's wonderful to hear and love to bring out people from within, so thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations to your folks. 9C is action to accept the October 2025 payroll claims. I suppose we should pay them now too, right?
I'll move the approval.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Kayla, anything else?
Nothing other.
Alrighty. Item 10 is receive information from other county employees. Anybody got anything for us? It's Quiet Monday. How about comments from the public? Seeing nobody, unless anybody has anything else, we're adjourned. Thank you all.